All right, since we're on the topic of debt and destruction, might as well keep going. Remember what happened with the subprime lending and even the adjustable rate mortgages and all this stuff? And all we're doing this. Remember the Barney Frank, right? What was it called? The Dodd-Frank Act and all this crap. We're going to regulate the banks, extra regulation, all that crap. Well, what if you're not classified as a bank? Then you don't have to follow that regulation. So imagine being able to give out loans for houses, mortgages, the biggest ones of all, right? The biggest debt of all, and not have to go through the things that a bank has to go through. You might be able to do some kind of crappy things. I don't know, kind of like last time. This is actually Zero Hedge, but they linked to some site, valuewalk.com. And it's a short one, but the author says, Pamela Yellen. I'm pretty sure Pamela's not related to Janet Yellen. I'm pretty sure of that. Pamela Yellen is founder of Bank on Yourself. I love what she says here. You're going to love this. A financial investigator and the author of 2 New York Times best-selling books, including her latest, The Bank on Yourself Revolution, Fire Your Banker, Bypass Wall Street, and Take Control of Your Own Financial Future. Pamela investigated more than 450 financial strategies seeking an alternative to the risk and volatility of stocks and other investments, which led her to a time-tested, predictable method of growing wealth now used by more than 500,000 Americans. Well, that sounds all right to me. Now, what does she have to say here? The subprime workaround that could crush your retirement. The housing crash of 2008 is now 10 years in the rearview mirror, but the danger of another crisis lurks despite assurances to the contrary. Financial security expert Pamela Yellen, a 2-time New York Times best-selling author, opines. Backdoor lending, the subprime workaround that could crush your retirement. We've been told that the housing bubble and collapse was about predatory lending and high-risk borrowers who were duped into loans they couldn't afford. The massive regulatory response to the subprime crisis meant that banks were no longer allowed to behave badly, so they have chosen to behave differently. And that's not a good thing, Pamela says. The largest sources of mortgage lending in the United States is now being done by non-banks. Financial entities that offer unsecured personal lending, business loans, leveraged lending, and mortgage services, but do not hold a banking license, she says. And as a result, they are not subject to standard banking oversight and can engage in risky lending. Where do they get the money to make these loans then if they're not banks? Well, take a wild guess. Wells Fargo coughed up $81 billion. Citigroup and Bank of America ponied up $30 billion each, which would be 60. And JP Morgan threw in another $28 billion. By funding these shadow banks, the big financial players are still in the risky loan business, she says. And she notes, we should be worried about startling facts such as these. Loans to non-bank financial firms increased 6 times, 600%, sixfold, from 2010 to 2017, hitting a record $345 billion. Shadow lending is now larger than the world economy and poses a risk to the financial stability. An astonishing 6 out of 10 mortgage lenders in the United States are now shadow banks, many operating online and peddling subprime loans. It was precisely this type of non-transparent, under-the-radar, backdoor lending that led to soaring foreclosures, cratering home values, failing banks, and dwindling retirement accounts of a decade ago, she says. Now, you know when I talk about the cryptos, my guy said, I got the phone, my guy and his guy, my guy's guy. I don't think there's any more guys. It's just my guy and my guy's guy. When he first told me, my guy thinks Litecoin, and thus the market will follow, is going to $38. I'd asked him, did this guy tell you, is he giving you any more predictions? He goes, he's giving me quite a few not related to crypto. How did those do? He was right. How about crypto? At the time, he said, Joe, you only told me one thing so far besides this $38 thing, which hadn't happened yet. And that was the price of Bitcoin last year. They felt like it would do maybe 15, 16K. It actually went to 20. So I thought to myself, well, He kind of missed it a little bit. I mean, in a good way, I guess you could say he went higher. But there was no other additional track record there. So I'm not going to come on and tell everybody all at once, oh, I got one guy who's got one thing right. Here, check this out. You know what I mean? I had to wait. Now he's 4 out of 4 with the crypto market, by the way. As we saw, $23 Litecoin, that was the next mark I've been talking about for a little while now. That I told you, he told me, but I wasn't able to tell anybody. He hit that, and again, if he's right 5 out of 5, he's 4 out of 4 right now. He's right 5 out of 5. We got some destruction coming here in the very near future in the crypto market before we have some good news. Having said all that, when he started, I said, well, what was some of the other things he told me? He goes, oh, stock market stuff. He told me about the housing market before it crashed last time. He told me to get out of my house, take the money, rent for a little while, and you'll buy a real nice house for cheap. You're just going to rent for a little while. Okay. He said he did it. The guy convinced him enough to do it. And then we had the 2008-9 crisis that you know well about. And then 2010, 2011, 2012, especially 2011, 2012 was the absolute bottom of the housing market. I'm here to tell you, when he did tell me about the $38 Litecoin, which was a few months ago, he said, Joe, they're telling me the same things, their data is saying the same thing it said in 2005 and 6. That shortly the housing market is finished and it's going to go down again. They're going to have the same thing happen again. And he said, roughly 2 years. That doesn't mean exactly 2 years. It could be a year, it could be a year and a half, it could be 2.5 years, maybe it's 3 years. Just FYI. But he said around 2 years or so, the housing market is finished, just like last time. So what I see now, I'm doing all these videos again. I'm seeing it. Hey, Jay Snip here, Jay Snip here. Hey, Jay Snip. Telling you about the housing stuff. It's in our face again. But see, when it was in our face last time, that was 2005 and 6 when it peaked. We still had 2007 and then 8 to roll around before it really hit us. And we're like, oh, crap, what's going on here? 2009, holy crap, we're in a recession. Housing market's been destroyed. What the hell just happened? So you can see 2 or 3 years later, boom, it happened. So he's saying now, and again, he just said this to me a few months ago, housing market 2.0 bust is coming. They think it will be in about 2 years or so. So I see articles like the one I just read you, and I say, well, it kind of makes sense, whether Trump's in power or not. I mean, what could Trump possibly do to fix this mess? We have houses that are so astronomically high priced, rents that are still astronomically high priced. This stuff has to come down, has to come crumbling down and be dealt with. It really does. So one way or the other, it's going to get dealt with. And I did want to share that with you because just to give you kind of an idea of when we could expect the next one, this guy says within about 2 years or so. Am I rushing out to sell this house I got now? No, honestly, I'm not. I'm not. Not unless something happens. Like, my mom told me, Joe, you're going to be moving. And my mom's timing's not always right either, by the way, as a psychic. But she said about 2 years, I think you'll be leaving. I've been in this house officially a little over 1 year, by about a month or so. I think we actually closed in October of last year. We rented for 2 months, then we closed. I think that was October. So basically I've been a year, we're in December now, whatever, it was October something. So year and a month, year and 2 months, somewhere around there, I've been in this house, roughly 2 years, she told me. But at one time she said, this was later on, she goes, I'm not saying that I see you selling this house. I don't know about that. She goes, maybe you'll get something else for some other reason. I was like, again, in my mind, cryptos must be doing phenomenal. Cryptos must be doing phenomenal in around the year, 2020, basically, late 2019 or whatever. Which again could be 2020. Maybe she's off a little bit. It happens, but the message is what I pay attention to because I know when they say something, timing may be off, but the message is usually right. Not always, but most of the time, I'll tell you. Again, I live with my mom since forever, so I've seen it. Like I said, she told my buddy Bill phenomenal things. He's like, Joe, she nailed so many things, it's unbelievable. Except us moving in June of this year. And the only way they would move is from their crypto portfolio. And if you're wondering right now what his crypto portfolio looks like, it looks probably like yours. Not real pretty at the moment. But do I think it's going to turn around and go back up? Hell yes, I do. So we may be talking in 8, 9, 10 months. Hey, Jay, step 4 here, guys. Did you see? None of us saw the crypto market recovering the way it did. Holy crap. By the way, I got this new property that came up I'm going to go buy. That would be a great story. I have no idea what the hell I'm going to be doing, but I wanted to share that with you because if you're wondering, should I do this, should I do that? Apparently his guy's got a pretty darn good track record with stuff. Pretty darn good. And within 2 years, it's coming. So we will see. Well, we'll find out. Just like this last 5 out of 5 thing with the crypto market, which should be coming soon. More destruction if he gets it right. And part of you wants to say, well, I hope he doesn't. But then part of you says, well, damn it, if he's right and we have the knowledge in advance, knowledge is power. Sell now and get back in at this point, and that kind of thing. Which is, like I said, I was posting all this information on my Patreon, but there's still a chance that he may not. But after 4 out of 4, I said, to hell with this. I can't help it anymore. I'm going to try. What the hell? I said, I'm just going to do Litecoin. I'm not going to touch anything else I own. But I did have quite a bit of Litecoin. I said, I'm going to get the hell out of this Litecoin. I still have some of it, but I'll tell you, I got rid of a nice chunk of it to try to make a move here. So, hey, flip a coin, see what happens. Take care.